Hi, this is Jen Schaefer. Thank you for joining me as I continue on with my planner series. This is the first week of May and I've decided to try a couple new things. The first is that for this month, I'm going to be using these adorable headers from Jax and Pepper on Etsy. I chose to get 4 sheets of the header boxes as well as 2 sheets of the dots and 2 sheets of the check boxes. This will give me plenty to work with for this month as well as some extras for the future. I also got an adorable free sheet I'm sure I'll be able to use parts of throughout the month. I like that this store offers individual sheets at a reasonable price, as I'm not quite ready to commit to the beautiful but sometimes costly weekly kits. I'm starting off by putting the headers in for the week as I normally would. I've been loving that the weather we've been having lately is starting to warm up, so my theme for this week is springtime florals. Because of this, I've chosen 3 beautiful pink and purple colors. It's very nice and convenient that these headers already have text printed on them, so I don't have to write in my headers. I also love that these fit my Erin Condren planner so perfectly, though they can be a little difficult to line up as they're almost the exact same width as the printed headers. I'm sure that's just something that will take some practice working with. The camera also shows the imperfections a little more than I think they can be seen in person. With the headers in place, my next step is to continue using stickers and put the heart check flags in the correct places in the to-do section. The flags are a fair bit longer than any day's to-do list, but as I add items throughout the week, I don't want to cut them down. Between helping my parents move and being a stay-at-home mom to a toddler, I'm never entirely sure what the week is going to hold for me. Next, I can move on to adding stickers for the Today section. I have a few things scheduled for this week that I can add in, and I'm leaving open space because there are a few things I know I'll add in later as plans get settled. Once the stickers are added in, I can move on to using my Signo Uniball 207 pen to fill in this week's items. I like this pen over the Sharpie marker I was using before, as it's just as bold but doesn't bleed through the page. This week we are 25 weeks into our pregnancy, so I wanted to be sure to include a sticker for that. Because they match pretty well, I used one of the Erin Condren banner stickers to note this like I have in previous weeks. The purple is a little bit dark, so I ended up using the salmon pink color for my next week's section. I also switched to a white pen, and later went over the 25 weeks with a white pen as well to brighten it up. Next week should be pretty fun. My sister and niece are coming to help my parents pack. My husband and I get to babysit my best friend's daughter, and it's also Mother's Day weekend. Now I'm working on my steps section. I don't have any stickers for this area, and I'm using a flower-themed stamp set that doesn't have any convenient feet or walking stamps to use, so I'm going to try something different. To start out, I wrote steps centered in the top of each little thing section. Then I'm taking one of the stamps from the set, which is made by Lawn Fawn and is called Flutter By, and stamping it on either side of the word. This little decorative addition helps fill empty space as well as matches the theme I'm going for. Then I can take my pen and fill in the steps I have so far this week. For my decoration this week, I'm using several stamps from the Flutter By stamp set. I'm trying something similar to what I did a few weeks ago and stamping my stamps on sticker paper rather than in my planner directly. This time I'm using Avery Labels I had in my stash instead of the Cricut sticker paper. I like the Cricut paper and think the colors pencils go on a little smoother, but the paper's also a little thick, so I want to try something thinner. I'm not entirely sure which flowers and butterflies I want to use, so I'm stamping a wide variety. I happen to end up having exactly enough without wasting any, but you could always plan ahead if you're worried about wasting paper. Because these are labels as opposed to a sticker sheet, and I don't want to worry about lining things up later, I focus on starting with bigger stamps, keeping them in the lines, then adding smaller ones to fill in space. With my stamps in place, I can focus on coloring the images. For this planner layout, my banner and accessory stickers are all in purples and pinks. I've decided to add in blues and greens to the color scheme as well in my coloring. I also want to try a couple different color blending techniques. Blending a color with itself, blending with very similar colors, and blending with very different colors. To start off, I want to make a pink flower. My set of Prismacolor Colored pencils doesn't come with a pink, so I'm going to use only crimson red to get the effect I am looking for. I start out by putting down a very light layer of red over the whole flower. Then I can add additional light layers of red to add shadows and depth to my flower. This doesn't give you a perfect representation of pink, but I think it works pretty well and ends up matching the stickers pretty well. With this stamp set, I found that I like the look best with my shading when it's towards the bottom or inside of the flower while leaving the tips of the petals a lighter color. I think this gives the flower a more three-dimensional look without a lot of added effort. In this case, I use a single color to do all of my color blending. Another key part of this stamp set is the leaves. For these, I'm going to try blending several very similar colors. I want the darkest green color to be towards the center and blend out to a light yellow green towards the edges of the leaves. For this, I'm starting with canary yellow along the edges, then adding apple green over the whole leaf, then adding a bit more shading in the middle with grass green. I think this gives a cool effect. For a similar effect, you can start with a darker color and work your way out to a lighter color, like I'm doing with the second leaf. Because these colors are very similar, they blend together pretty well. I end up liking the way going from darker to light looks for these colors, so I use this technique for the rest of the leaves. For one more color blending technique, I want to do something extra special for the butterflies, by blending from pink to blue. These are two very different colors, so I'm going to use purple as well to help the shades mix. For this butterfly, I start in the middle with a light shade of crimson red to make pink. Pink and blue mixed together make purple, so I use violet next because it's easier to blend than going straight to blue. Then I can finish off the edge of the butterfly wings with true blue. If you have trouble identifying middle colors to ease blending, you could look at some color wheels online. You could also try out blending different colors on a scrap sheet of paper and use whatever combination you think looks the best for your project. You may find that if you have more colors available, you may want to try adding in a red-violet or blue-violet color to your transitions as well to give you an even smoother look. I finished the image by using the same blue color to color the butterfly's body. When I finished the images, I cut them out. Then I was ready to start decorating my planner. I wanted to tie in a little more green as well as fill in some of the empty space towards the bottom of my planner, so I got out some thin washi tape from Recollections. I put down several strips of washi using my scissors to clean up the edges and give a nice clean look. I feel like this addition filled in the space nicely as well as helped tie in the additional colors from my leaves. With the washi tape down, I can start laying out the stickers. I wanted to be sure I liked the overall look and confirm I didn't need any additional washi or stickers before I stick anything down. I like moving things around like this because it helps me from doing things like sticking two stickers next to each other that are the same color or ending up with spaces that aren't filled in. When I was pretty sure I knew where I wanted all my large stickers to go, I started peeling off the backers and putting them in place. To make it easier on myself to place leaves, I actually stuck them to the back of the flower rather than directly to the paper. This makes it a little easier to position them relative to the flower, as well as placing the whole set of stickers into my planner. I then continued placing the rest of my stickers. One additional detail I added was to re-add the antenna and legs to my butterflies. I did this with my Sharpie marker. I find this technique simpler than trying to cut around the very detailed stamped areas. Then I filled in with a few small flowers and was done, with the exception of filling in some more details later in the week. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope you enjoyed my latest planner episode. Be sure to check the description for further details, and I hope to see you again next time.